Hey guys, my name is Nishant,
And I'm Ishan.
and we'll be taking today's lecture on torrents and the BitTorrent protocol. Um, let's start. Um, Also, small disclaimer. Although torrents and the BitTorrent architecture are used for illegal purposes, they in and of itself is not illegal. Like BitTorrent and the entire torrent architecture is just a system of is just a networking system to transfer, upload and download files. That being said, we at STS Labs condone piracy, and we do believe that everyone should be paid. Everyone should be paid for their work. So let's get started.
So, what is BitTorrent? BitTorrent is an efficient, decentralized, hybrid peer-to-peer protocol enabling distribution of large online files to many people at the same time. Now, what is a P2P network, or better to say, a peer-to-peer protocol? It is a kind of network in which each participating computer or entity has the same parts as the others. That is, I can upload a file as well as download it. This is unlike the traditional client server model where a single server is the controlling unit without which the network cannot function. The server is the one who provides resources and services to one or more clients on the request. Now, since we have multiple peers to download and upload, the process in peer-to-peer protocol would obviously be faster than the server client model. This would become more clear in the next slide. So now, please note that we have taken a hybrid P2P network, which is indeed the model on which BitTorrent is based. In a hybrid P2P network, there is still a central unit which is necessary for some functions. So we have taken that example since BitTorrent uses that, and the GIF which is being shown is also for hybrid peer-to-peer. So coming back to the example, suppose a popular band releases a music video which millions of people want to download. Now, thousands of people would be visiting the band's website to download the video. Now, if the music video is present on a server, the server hosting it would be besieged with traffic from all over the world exactly at the same time for people wanting to download that file. This would create a tremendous load on the server since it would have to create copies of the video for every single computer request and send it. And that actually looks a lot inefficient. I'm sorry. Instead, what the band could do, Nishant, Instead, what the band could do is if they use a peer-to-peer network, they could split its video into many parts as shown in one, and then distribute it among the people. And then, since it's a peer-to-peer network, everybody is connected. The computers themselves can exchange their copies with each other, and only by a single copy, the video gets distributed between all the people. And this is the idea of BitTorrent. Next slide, please. So let us get familiar with some technical terms before diving in. So coming back to that band's example, suppose the band decides that they want to use BitTorrent. They take their music track and make it available on the computer as a file called a torrent file. The computer that hosts the original file in its entirety is called a seed, and it splits it up into lots of pieces. We use the BitTorrent client to create the torrent file and request it from a seed also. The client is sent one of the pieces and gets all the remaining pieces. The client is you. It gets all the remaining pieces over a period of time from other people's computers through P2P communication. And at any given moment, each computer is downloading some parts of the file from some of these peers and also uploading other parts of the file to other peers. All the computers cooperating in this way at any time are called a swarm. So when people have finished downloading a file, they are encouraged to stay online for a while so that they can continue uploading the file since they do not have to download it now. Upload the file to people in the swarm, and this activity is known as seeding since they have the complete file. Now, quitting from a swarm the minute you download is though not appreciated, but it has popularly gained a nickname known as leeching. And if everybody would have leached, sadly, BitTorrent wouldn't have worked at all. Now over to Nishant.
Okay. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah. So first things first. When you let's just come to this part here. So when you want, let's say someone that wants to download a movie. I mean, okay, my mistake. Let's say someone wants to download a really really big file. Let's say it's about 2 GB or something. and they've given you a torrent. They've uploaded it on the BitTorrent architecture. So all you would have right now is you would have something called a torrent file, and you'd have to open it in something called the BitTorrent client. That's the software, this which is over here. This is a picture of the BitTorrent client. So what does the torrent file contain? First of all, the torrent file here, it's basically, it contains all of the metadata for your particular download. Now, what is metadata? Metadata is additional data of the file that you're about to download. So basically, your torrent file, it contains the address of all of the pieces. It contains the address of the central repository from where you get all of the locations of all of your peers, and it contains your entire file structure, and it contains it contains the file structure, the number of files that you're supposed to download, and it also has something called a cryptographic hash, which it would comp- it, which would basically help you which would basically help check if the file that you download is legit or not. It would check if you have it would check it would make sure that no one has altered the file in any way, and that you're downloading the actual file. So first thing, like under the hood. So we went to the site, we downloaded a torrent file, and now we've opened it on BitTorrent client, right? So right now it's downloading. So what exactly happens? The first thing that happens is your computer is going to connect to a centralized server, and on that server is a list of addresses of all of the other computers connected to that server, and the locations, and those computers basically hold the pieces that you need to that the pieces of the file that you're supposed to download. So that centralized server has the location of all of these computers and the location of all of these pieces. So what happens is you acquire those addresses, and then you connect to all of these computers, and then you start downloading all of the pieces simultaneously. Now the thing is, you might be thinking, how on earth do I? I mean, sometimes you don't download all pieces simultaneously. Sometimes BitTorrent downloads 5 pieces at a time or 10 pieces at a time. It can vary based on your preferences or based on your default settings that BitTorrent has. But by default, it's 5 pieces at a time. So first, you'd be thinking, the thing is, how would you select those 5 pieces? The BitTorrent architecture has something called it has a selection policy, where what happens is it first selects it first considering in a peer-to-peer file network, a lot of people keep going in and out. So obviously there would be a sort of inconsistency with the file, right? Like there would be a lot of computers having one particular piece, and there would be very few computers having the other particular piece, right? So they would be this variable distribution of pieces among the network, right? So what BitTorrent first does is it first downloads the rarest pieces, the pieces that are available on the least amount of computers. It downloads that, and it stores that in your computer. It stores that in your client, and then it goes to the second rarest, and then sorry those like the it goes to the next piece that is least available among the network. The thing is, and this process keeps going as you attain every single piece of your particular download. um oh yeah, piece 6. Finally, in the end, the BitTorrent client assembles all of the data together, and then you get your movie, and then voila, you have your movie ready with you. But the thing is, you'll also have to understand that over here, as you're downloading these pieces, you're also uploading a certain piece of that particular file to the network. Now, this certain piece is selected by random. It's usually selected. The tracker. Remember the tracker, the central server that keeps a track of all of the pieces and how many pieces are there and how many computers. It would randomly assign us. It would randomly tell your computer that I would need you to upload this particular piece. I would need you to upload this particular piece because this is the particular piece that is there in the least amount of computers, and we want to make it available to other computers in the peer. So as you keep downloading, you're also uploading to the network. So you establish. So there's a sort of camaraderie there, where where not only do you download a particular file, but you're also uploading to the network, and uh, you're helping other people download the file as well. Um, Now here over to Ishan.
Yeah. So, am I audible?
Yeah, yeah.
So there's another term known as choking. Choking is done mostly to maintain stable download speeds. Now, what is choking? Choking is a process in which you refuse upload to appear while still allowing download from it. What this means is you'll still download from everybody while you don't upload. Now, at any given point of time, a peer will have unchoked only four of its peers. That is, it allows uploading to only four peers at once and does not upload to any other peer apart from them. These four unchoked peers, which I mentioned just now, are selected based on the download rate received from them, their download rate, and are recalculated by every 10 seconds by the client. Also, apart from these four unchoked peers, an additional unchoked is allowed, which does not depend on the download rate. It is called the optimistic unchoke, and it is selected randomly every 30 seconds. Why is this done? This is done to find unused connections which can or may be better than the current unchokes. Unused connection can be caused to die due to various reasons, such as when a new peer has joined the swarm, so it still hasn't uploaded any pieces. And apart from this, sometimes a peer gets choked by all of its peers. If a peer has not received anything in the last 60 seconds, it presumes it has been snubbed. As per the tit for tat principle of BitTorrent, it will choke all the peers from which it isn't receiving anything, except as an optimistic unchoke. Now, due to this, not due to this optimistic unchoke, an exception to the rule is created. The peer will generally open more than one optimistic unchoke. This allows the peer to find better connections quicker than just relying on being optimistically unchoked. And once a peer has downloaded the whole file, it has no download rates to use the previous methods of choking. So the unchoke is based on the upload rate of the peers, preferring peers to whom no one is uploading to. So over to Nishant.
Okay. So why BitTorrent? Like, what's the? I mean, what? So here we're talking about the advantages between why we prefer the BitTorrent and the peer-to-peer architecture over the normal client-server architecture. I mean, it's kind of apparent from from the earlier thing. We have seen that we have seen if in a normal client system architecture, where the normal client system architecture is what everyone uses. So when you go to the internet and you download a particular file, you're just downloading from one single server, right? The problem with that is that if there are too many computers asking for that same file, it produces a lot of load on that server, and it's difficult for you to obtain that file, even if you have a really fast internet connection. You still have a really poor download speed. The BitTorrent architecture and the peer-to-peer, the BitTorrent architecture with its peer-to-peer network architecture helps improve on this by distributing the load amongst all of the peers. So because you're downloading from multiple computers at the same time, because you're downloading from multiple computers at the same time, you're not actually putting a lot of load on a single computer. So because of that, it enables for efficient exchange of information. Another really cool and pretty important part of the BitTorrent architecture is that um, if the main server in the normal client system architecture, the normal download um, architecture that we use when we go to a site and we download anything, if that main server goes down, you will not be able to download anything. But in the BitTorrent architecture, if one of the nodes go away, if one of the peers just randomly vanish, there's always another computer with the same information that you need from another you can get that information that you need from a different peer instead. Um so it makes sure that you would always be able to get your file. Now, the disadvantage of BitTorrent, well, as you can see, it's a decentralized way of acquiring data. So the thing is, it's used for piracy. It's and because it's decentralized, everyone has a copy of the file, and because of that, it's it's that is why it's actually used in piracy, because the thing is, because it doesn't have, because it's not one server that's holding that particular movie that's not supposed to be there. All computers have the movie with them, parts of the movie. All computers have parts of the movie with them, and it's hard, and it's kind of hard for the, let's say the FBI or any other agency to arrest an entire network of like 10,000 people who have the file, right? So that's actually the reason why why one of the main reasons why one of the main reasons why uh, the BitTorrent architecture is used in piracy. Another disadvantage is that if in your if your peer if in the network architecture, if there's a single piece that is that if there's only one piece that only one peer has, and if that peer goes away, then you and if you're not able to get that one single piece, then you will not be able to complete that download. So if you guys actually go to torrent sites, and if you see there's a column of like seeds and leeches, if the number of seeds are very low, or if there's zero, that means there's no one actually uploading data there. So although you would be able to download some parts of the files from different leeches here and there, you'd never be able to get the entire file if the number of seeds are pretty low. So well, that's our lecture. Thanks for coming. So, and now we'll have a short Q&A session. So does anyone have any doubts?
How would one go blocking the BitTorrent and also how to circumvent it?
Sorry, could you repeat your question again?
How would one go blocking BitTorrent file download and how to circumvent it?
uh, could you define what you mean by blocking?
Are you
Because
blocking that website, or what are you blocking?
The download.
that's the thing, you can't actually block a particular download, right? That's how people are able to download pirated movies. You can't actually block anything on you can't actually block a download on a torrent on a peer-to-peer file or network architecture.
I think you might be asking about the thing that happened in our college. So they were just blocking some of the packets based on the ports. Only the packets were filtered based on their ports and just dropped in the network.
Okay.
What's the difference between BitTorrent and uTorrent?
Okay, there's a slight confusion there. The thing is, bit there are two things. There's the BitTorrent protocol and the BitTorrent the software. BitTorrent the software and uTorrent are pretty much the same thing. They're the client that you that's the software client that you use in order to connect to a peer network and download files. But the entire system is also called BitTorrent. BitTorrent software and uTorrent software are pretty much the same thing.
Okay. Another thing, how do I use torrent for legal purposes? Like I have
Well,
a big file and I want to broadcast it among many of the peers. How do I generate a torrent?
okay, to generate a torrent, you can you software like BitTorrent and uTorrent actually have this feature where you just have you will have like once you open uTorrent, you just go to file and you go to new, you create a new torrent, and then it'll ask you the it'll ask you for the files that you need to upload. So once you select your files and you just click upload, you're going to get a torrent. You will get a torrent file, a simple 5 MB, not even 5, 2 MB file. Then you can share that with all of your friends, and they will be able to download it from you.
Okay, so if I do that and I share the torrent file with my friends at the IITR campus, can they use IITR LAN for that purpose? Like I want to understand what is blocked in the LAN.
Logged is
Um,
the illegal content.
no, no,
Illegal content.
What? Sorry.
Okay, so if I use it for some legal purpose like sharing among my peers, it won't work. Okay. Right. So
Uh,
how is any kind of speed that I am receiving from the torrents decided? Like if there's no central thing, like there's only the tracker, right? If let's say there's 100 people in the swarm, and I put up a torrent, still if I'm getting 5 seeders, what's the reason? Like why are the seeders so low?
Sorry, could you repeat that question again?
Like in a lot of conditions there's 100 people in the swarm who are like there's 100 seeders that the client shows there are in the swarm. However, the people who are connected to me is merely 5 or something, and the speed is as low as 10 kbps. So why is it that even though there's so many people in the swarm, yet I'm not getting speeds?
Oh, that's because they would have actually stopped uploading. So when you download a file on uTorrent or BitTorrent, once your file is downloaded, you have the option to stop. To once the file is downloaded, then you can see it starts seeding, right? People usually stop. People sometimes what they might do is that they might stop it there because their work is done. Like they wanted the file and that's all, right? So although they're connected to the network, they stop uploading, and because they stop uploading, the number of seeders are low.
uh, all the files are divided into a number of parts, okay, and each and every seeder has their own definition of parts. So if I am downloading a part of a file and the seeder disconnects in between that, so then will that part be again be downloaded from other seeder, or it will continue from there only?
Actually, this part would be this part like we actually oversimplified the pieces definition. The thing is, these parts that you would download from a particular seeder, right? They actually contain sub pieces, and these sub pieces. So when you're downloading the sub pieces, if one piece becomes unavailable, then it would automatically search for a different. It would search for a different seeder to get that part from. But if you aren't able to find a seeder, then you can never get that part, and your download will never get over. So, are there any other questions? Um, well, okay, guys. So we'll end the lecture here. So thank you for coming.